Oh hi, so it's time for another Top 5 Wednesday video. So Top 5 Wednesday is a group with weekly prompts for top 5 topics. I'll leave the group details down below, but this week's topic is authors you'd want to write like. This topic is in honor of NaNoWriMo, which November's not over yet, but basically for the month of November, lots of people were trying to write 50,000 words towards a novel. I was also attempting it, however, I have now dropped out. Basically, I had a conference at the beginning of the week, the beginning of the month, and I just got way too far behind. And it was stressing me out, and I knew that I could, if I just put all my effort into it, I could catch up, but also had too many other things on my to-do list that I wanted to do more, so I decided prioritize. I'm really bad at prioritizing, but this time I managed to do it. So that makes this topic a little bit sad for me, but still I'm probably gonna try doing the Camp NaNoWriMo in April, because April's like a much better month for writing than November, when things are quite crazy before Christmas. Anyway, let's get into the authors that I'd like to write like. This is kind of like my favorite authors, to be honest. So number 5 would be Maggie Stiefvater. So she's the author of The Raven Cycle. That's the only books of hers that I've read. So I know with The Raven Boys, a lot of people complain that the first half is really slow. But for me, I read it right after having read like a book that I two-starred. I can't remember what it was, but it frustrated the hell out of me. And so when I picked this up, like relatively, it was amazing, and I felt like, I don't know, it's not what anyone else's opinions are, but I felt like every chapter started with like a sentence that sucked you in, and then every chapter ended with something that made you think, oh my god, I need to read the next chapter. So I found this book amazing, and I just love the way that she connects everything together, and I love her style of writing. So if I could write like Maggie Stiefvater, I would be quite happy. So number 4 is Mr. Brandon Sanderson. This is Elantris. I haven't actually read it yet. My Mistborn trilogy, which I have read, is off having someone else read it. So Mistborn trilogy is about this world where people have the ability to basically consume metal and then burn its energies and get different superpowers. I also a while ago read his middle grade book, The Arithmetist, and I'm waiting eagerly for the next book in that series. And that series is about kind of this dystopian world where they fight using chalk diagrams and the chalk comes to life. It's crazy. And I also read another book a while ago that was set in another one of his worlds where I don't quite remember the crazy power this person had. But anyway, Brandon Sanderson is just great at making those like scientific magic systems, which I love. Like not just this airy-fairy magic, but magic systems that are really unique and powerful and interesting. So if I could create magic systems and do world building as amazing as Brandon Sanderson can, I would be very happy. So number 3 would be Mr. Patrick Rothfuss. This is the Kingkiller Chronicles, which is a trilogy. The first 2 books are out. Now, to be honest, one thing that I wouldn't want to write like Patrick Rothfuss is I wouldn't want to write at his speed, as we've been waiting quite a few years now for the 3rd book in the trilogy, and I think we'll be waiting quite a few more. And while that's cool, that's his process, it's going to take him that long, it can be hard waiting. Although, let's be honest, I haven't written anything, so my writing pace at the moment is a lot slower than Patrick Rothfuss's. I can't even finish NaNoWriMo. Anyway, Patrick Rothfuss has like a really good kind of storytelling vibe. I mean, it's this book in particular lends itself to that, but he also has those kind of like cool scientific magic concepts. So mixed in with this kind of storytelling and kind of magic, it's basically the mix together makes a really amazing world. And so again, if I could write like this, I would be happy. This is of course all lies, right? Because people are never happy with what they've got. But happy for a little while, happier, something like that. Alright, so then number 2 would be Miss Vishwa. I love Vishwa's books. My favorite one is probably Vicious, which is about these extraordinaries who basically are people with superpowers. Careful of spoilers, Penny. And you've got these 2 men who are researching how people gain the superpowers, and they end up in kind of quite a big fight along with some other extraordinaries. So I love Vicious. I also love the Darker Shades of London trilogy, where there are multiple versions of London, all with different amounts of magical power. Grey London is our typical historical London. Then you got Red London, which is heaps of like magical power, and their world's all built around it. Got White London, where the power is essentially like turned quite, I want to say dark, but that sounds weird because it's White London, which is the opposite of dark. But it's all about like power. The terrible explanation. Power there has all kind of been sucked away, so there's not much now, and what there is, people fight over, so it's become a very violent place. That was a better explanation. And then Black London has pretty much been walled off because magic went crazy there and it's not safe anymore. And then The Savage Song is a duology which is about monsters that are created from violent acts, including one of the main characters who is a Sunai, who basically use music to absorb sinners' souls. I guess what we're getting from this is I really love authors who come up with these really cool, crazy concepts, especially when they tell the stories in such a realistic way. So you've got like this crazy concept, which is completely out there, but then the characters all have this realness to them, especially Vishwa. Her characters are really relatable, even though they're in situations which you would never find yourself in. Right, so then number 1 would be Ilona Andrews, who is the author of the Kate Daniels series. She also has some other series which I have not read. This is kind of romance, paranormal romance. Some of her other books I think are much more romance focused. Personally, I'm not that much of a fan of romance, but because they take the back seat in this series, I'm willing to put up with a little bit of it. What I love about Ilona Andrews' writing is that, like, these books, I just fly through them every time. They're just so action-packed, and even though there's still a lot of emotional stuff and, like, different concepts being explored, action always kind of keeps things moving forward. And really, I think as well, since I'm talking about all the other authors and like them because of these complex magic systems, Ilona Andrews pulls quite heavily from all sorts of different mythologies from around the world. So this series also has quite realistic magic systems. But if I could write books that were as easy to devour as these books, then I would be happy. Also, actually, side note, this is the first book in the series. I finally managed to get my hands on it. So a long time ago, before I got into the Kate Daniels series, I actually bought the first book for my mum, and I read it before I gave it to her, and I loved it. And I gave it to her, and she was like, I'm not really into paranormal stuff that much anymore. So then a while ago, I was like, well, that's stupid. I've got the whole series except for the first book, and she doesn't even like it. So I was like, Mum, what happened to that book? Can I have it? And she's like, you never gave me that book. I'm like, I did. She's like, nope, never, which is ridiculous because my mother has a terrible memory, and for her to claim something with such certainty is ridiculous. So I went digging around in some of her boxes under the house, and I found the book. So she was wrong and I was right, and now I have the whole series except for the 10th book, which is coming out soon, and I'm super excited. So those are the 5 authors that I would want to write like. I'd love to hear what other authors you think are specifically good for their writing skill, because I need to not fail at NaNoWriMo next time, so I need to get my writing into gear. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.